Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Elect Your Soul. If you're new to my channel, I'm a psychic medium, a spiritual life coach, and just a spiritual bitch putting everybody on. Of course, you already knew that, alongside a whole lot of other things, okay? But besides that, what we're going to be talking about today is a method that I made up for myself. If I'm being real, this is entirely made up by me, okay, by Elect Your Soul. I made this shit up basically through my experience. It came to me very naturally. It's just a method that I would like to call I'll get used to it method, okay? I'm going to be explaining the hell out of what this method is exactly, or like how you can use it or whatever, because I recently have adapted it for myself. And the reason that I did was for reasons that I'll get into within this video to let you guys know a little bit more about what it was that I went through, what I experienced, and all this other stuff, and how I came to this conclusion as to how we can use this to the best of our advantage, saying these simple words to ourselves. Where anytime that you feel uncertain as to whether you can get used to the new story or not, so this is more of a technique for those who use the law of assumption / conscious manifesting when you feel like you cannot get used to the new story. You feel as if it is a little complicated, or you know, it just feels too surreal to you right now, and I entirely understand, because at the very beginning of when you decide on some of your desires, I know that not everyone goes into using the law of assumption with a very high self-concept, which of course working on your self-concept is a must, I personally feel. But upon that, if you feel like your self-concept is not yet where you need it to be, or maybe it's in regards to that specific desire that you're manifesting, you feel like this desire is a little bit too complicated in my eyes for me to believe that I can do this kind of vibe, you're going to start to tell yourself, I'll get used to this. I'll get used to this. I'm going to get used to this. I am already used to this. Okay? Exactly what I mean here is that, let's say for example, actually, no, we're not gonna do that yet because we're still at the beginning. We're basically getting started with the video, alright? So, before we begin, guys, peep the background music. As always, of course, you already know. The Law of Assumption binaural beat playlist coming through to bless what? Our ears, our heart, our souls, our desires, our everything that we got going on. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna bless it alongside blessing yourself with the 444 Spiritual Sounds playlist shirt. Girl, look at this. I got 444 on me, Elect Your Soul 444. Of course, you already know that's very on brand for me, but if you guys want to bless yourself in this way with angel numbers, with whatever it is, go ahead, cop yourself a t-shirt, okay? We got some 444s present on it, which we already know that angel number 444 means that your angels are caring for you, looking after you, guiding you, protecting you right in this very moment, all right? So the link to copying this shirt and listening to this binaural beat playlist and downloading it, of course, will be down below in the description box and in the comment section, all right? So bless yourself, bless your heart, bless your ears, bless your spirituality. You already know, y'all got this in the bag, as always and forever. But okay, guys, now we can get started with the video, okay? So with that being said, right back to what I was saying at the very beginning. With the I'll get used to it method, or whatever you want to call it, honestly, I was thinking something along the lines of I'll get used to it, like I said, or I am already used to it, or it's just the get used to part, okay? Let's say, for example, that you are manifesting a lot of money into your life, and right in this very moment you kind of feel like you're not one of those people who do have a lot of money, naturally speaking. You know, you set your intention on manifesting this desire right here. You've already said in your mind, I'm going to get this, I got this, and that's it, you know, all the good stuff. But for some reason, because in the 3D it looks like you don't have that much money, which is never a possibility for you, but in the 3D it looks that way. It kind of looks a little strange to you. You're like, okay, this doesn't look like it's fitting the reality that I have in my head, right? There might be a little bit of you reacting to the 3D in there, you know, things like that, a little sprinkle of whatever. But upon all of these things, you know, upon you thinking to yourself, I don't know if I can really manifest this, I don't know if the money's mine, I don't know, whatever. Remember that one, staying true to that new story is of course going to be very important. Like, you should always be on your own side here. Don't be shitting on yourself, hating on yourself, telling yourself that you can't, discrediting yourself and disrespecting and looking down on yourself because you think that you can't do this, okay? So instead of doing all this other stuff where you feel like, man, I might spiral, or I should just give up on this, or forget this, I'm just gonna settle for, listen, like, before we do all that, let's start telling ourselves things that are actually going to make us feel comfortable within the fact that, okay, I didn't really feel like I had that much money, but I'm starting to get used to it a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more day by day. I want you guys to understand, first and foremost, when you're manifesting whatever it is that you're manifesting, you are getting used to a new story now, okay? That is exactly why so many people start off really, really strong, right? They're affirming the hell out of their desires. They feel super confident. Self-concept is thriving in that moment. And then later on, let's say, for example, a few days later, they start to overthink it a little bit, and then boom, it's kind of like, okay, I don't really feel as confident about this as I did from day one, all right? That is completely understandable, and that does happen to some people. I'm not claiming it for y'all, but I will say for me, it definitely did did happen. Starting off real strong and then kind of just going down with my confidence because I felt like the things that I really wanted was not actually reflecting within my 3D reality, all right? So upon that little pit that you're in right now where you feel as though you cannot do this, okay? Remind yourself that you're getting used to this right now. I'm telling you right now, tell yourself, I will get used to having as much money as I say that I have right now. I will get used to all of the money that I have right now. I am so used to receiving so much money. If I don't feel fully comfortable right now with having this much money, I'll get used to it. I will get used to this. I will get used to this. This is my new reality. Of course, I will get used to this. Start telling yourself that you will get used to the exact reality that you are writing for yourself, because just like everything else that you have manifested in your life, it took a little bit of you getting used to the new story, and maybe that's literally exactly what you need. It's really easy to write it off as, oh, I can't, and it's a failure, and it's too easy to give up, and all this other stuff. But my love, have you even sat there and given yourself a time of day to even think about the fact that maybe you'll get used to the new story, so to just keep on going strong with it? Affirming for your desires, of course, will always be a big confidence boost for you. But sometimes when people are affirming to themselves for a desire that they really want, they don't realize that they feel an over attachment to that desire, to the extent of feeling like, because I want this so bad, I kind of feel like I'm not gonna have it because of how much I want it, you know? In reality, as much as everything is instant, and believe me, the second that you make a decision to have something, it's literally instant, it's absolutely done. But as much as everything is instant, understand that, you know, within the 3D reality where you think that things aren't showing up for you and all this other stuff, you must remind yourself that you will get used to the story that you have written for yourself, and that story is the only story that you are writing in now. It's the only story that you're living in now. It's the only story that you're a part of, period, because you're claiming that. But you're letting yourself get used to that so that you don't just write it off as, I can't do it, it's impossible. Absolutely not. We're working with ourselves here. You know, we're doing what we have to do to let ourselves get used to the story that we know will bless us the most because we have written it ourselves. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? I truly intend that this method is coming off to y'all as something that is very easy to understand, because the reason that I'm telling y'all this in the first place, like I said at the very beginning of the video, and the reason that I've even done this for myself, as I stated at the beginning of the video as well, is because it worked for me. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a clear-cut example of what I did for myself and exactly how I came to understanding that this was actually helping me, okay? So it started only a few weeks ago. I remember that back then, a few years ago, even a few months ago, I was rather harder on myself when it came to me getting used to the story that I was writing for myself, and I apologize, that's my cat. I remember feeling a bit overwhelmed at some point because I felt as though it was a little bit, not difficult, but I kind of felt as though there were some things that I could not fully commit myself towards manifesting, if that makes sense. You know, it was almost like that limiting belief that was there. It still felt a little, not dominating, but it was still there though, period. You know what I'm trying to say? It was kind of nagging at me at the back of my head. So back in those days, I remember I used to just write shit off for myself. I would just tell myself that I couldn't, forget it, it's too hard, oh my god, I can't do this. Even if there were days going on by where I was affirming to myself that I had these desires, I didn't have it in my mind though. Despite me consistently affirming, I wasn't registering in my mind that, okay, but I'm gonna get used to it with these affirmations. You get what I'm trying to say? It wasn't coming from a place of total security and confidence in myself. It was coming from a place of desperation. So that's when I started working with myself, and I realized that I needed to allow myself some time to get used to what it was that I was writing for myself within my reality. So instead of me writing it off as, I can't do this, I might as well just stop and give myself a second to remind myself, you'll get used to this. You're getting used to this reality. You're getting used to this reality. And that is exactly, I'm telling you guys, I've told myself this for the last few weeks, and every single spiraling thought, intrusive thought, whatever, blah blah, has completely disappeared and gone away in the matter of just me saying those words, you'll get used to it, because that is exactly what I needed to give myself, with some grace. I need to give myself some time to understand that exactly what I was writing down, like exactly what I was saying was going to be the case, was going to be the case because I was standing on business. You know, like now it's entirely perceived that way, where I don't need to stress myself out any longer trying to force myself to get used to a new story that I feel right now is not one that I can get used to right in this very second. I give myself some time to understand, you are going to get used to this. Even if you don't understand how you're going to, even if you don't know how it's going to fully click, even if you don't know any of it, okay? Even if you don't know at all, you understand that the weird feelings that you get while you are manifesting what you're manifesting because it feels too good to be true. You now understand that if you give yourself a little bit more time, you're going to see how everything will end up blessing you. Because I will definitely say there were a lot of times that I felt as though, you know, when is it going to happen though? But when, you know, things like that. But over the course of these last few weeks, upon me telling myself you'll get used to it, it just immediately, everything else just went away because I was letting myself feel the way that I feel without sabotaging myself, without feeling like I'm doing something wrong, without whatever, any limiting thing, right? I wasn't piling up on myself anymore. I was just letting myself understand that, okay, it feels a little strange right now, but believe me, you will get used to this. And I urge you guys, seriously, if you are somebody who is like me, and I will say that a lot of my videos are for people like me, or for people who have struggled like me, or have felt the way that I've felt in my life. You know, if you've even resonated with one of my videos, I'm sure that you can resonate with a whole bunch of others. But for people who are like me, who feel a little bit more anxious about what we are manifesting, where we feel like, okay, what is gonna happen though, you know? Overthinking central a little bit. I don't overthink no more, but I remember the kind of person I used to be. And I know that if there was a version of myself that existed in this way in the past, then there might be somebody out here who may be experiencing the exact same thing that I did. So that is why granting yourself the permission to just understand that you will get used to this is so unbelievably liberating, alongside you being able to understand that yes, you can feel how you feel right now. It feels a little strange, it feels a little scary, but that is not going to last you. This, how you feel right now, it's not going to last. It's going to be completely fine, and you're going to see how day by day by day, because now you're letting yourself get used to the new story, everything in your reality is going to start reflecting what you've been telling yourself. Okay, you're going to start seeing your new story all over your face because you let yourself get there. Okay, first, you're already there, all right? There is no separation between you and the new story, of course. But for those who just want to feel totally fulfilled within the new story, where it's like no trace of the old story at all, flip your thoughts to understand, okay, instead of me scolding myself and telling myself I should be used to it by now and I can't do this and yada yada yada, whatever, now we're gonna flip the script and we're gonna say something a little bit more empowering and endearing and helpful for ourselves, instead of bashing ourselves all the way down because we think that we can't get used to it. Bitch, of course you can get used to the new story. This is your story. This is literally exactly what you've written for yourself because you knew that you deserved this since day one. So remind yourself, I'll get used to this. I will get very used to this. I am so used to this story. I'm so used to this life. I'm so used to having so much money. I'm so used to being with the love of my life. I'm so used to this new life that I have written for myself. And anytime that you feel a little bit of a spiraling moment, like I said before, remind yourself, I'll get used to this. I'll get used to this. It feels weird. It's okay, but I will get used to this. And that is exactly what I've done for myself. Instead of bashing myself, like I told y'all, I just grant myself a little bit of permission to understand I will get used to this. And it immediately aids me, bro. I'm telling you, it makes me feel like I have some time. I have time. And that really is, I think, another big thing. It's just feeling like there's no time. I can't manifest this. There's no time. There's always time. You got all the time in the world. Believe me, you are the entire world. So there's no point in making this harder than it needs to be. Just let it be how you want it to be, okay? You'll get used to it. Believe me, you will. Even if you don't understand how, believe me, you will. And that is the most important thing in this world. All right, my love? All right then, take it with you. Apply what you will. I intend truly, oh my gosh, from the bottom of my heart, that this technique, method, whatever you want to call it, has helped you out to the most of its ability, inside and out. Because you deserve to understand that whatever it is that you want, you will get used to having. Even if right now it feels insane, whatever, absolutely not. You are a pop star. You are whatever you want to be. If you want to be a big fat famous singer and all you're doing right now is singing in front of the mirror, you'll get used to the story where you are that famous pop singer, whatever you want to be. And you're going to see how day by day, because you're giving yourself permission to just understand, I don't have to write off my beliefs as fake. I can just tell myself that I'll get used to this, and then I can watch myself get used to it as my new story starts to reflect itself within my reality, okay? Right then and there, it's only up from here. Do you understand? Just make this the easiest, the calmest, the best that it can be for you. And I know that at the end of the day, you will be the most successful, because success is the only thing that you're made of, and that's it. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching today. May God bless you all always. Thank y'all. I love y'all so freaking much. And again, I intend truly that this video helped you out to the most of its ability. Because if not that, then what, girl? Listen, let yourself get used to what you know is the truth. Okay, yeah, maybe right now you feel like you can't believe that you really are as happy as you've said that you are, as beautiful as this, as that. Listen, if you're working with yourself here, which you definitely are, I think it's time that you cut yourself a little bit of slack. Like, give yourself some slack, boo. And understand that, okay, maybe right now I don't feel like the most beautiful person on this earth, but because I say that I am, and because I know that I can be, and because I know that that's what I am, let me get used to that reality that I know is exactly what I'm made of. Do you understand? Let yourself understand that despite everything else, this reality will be exactly what you're making it out to be. And believe me when I say, you will get used to that. And once you get used to that, you're going to understand that it really was just you having to come to terms with the fact that, okay, yeah, I'm really blessed this way. I'm really as blessed as I've been saying that I am. I'm really as blessed as I've been saying that I am. That's what I said. But seriously, I want whoever resonates with what I'm saying here, within the technique, within the video, within everything that I've stated to you all, to use this technique to the most of your advantage and to the best of your ability. And believe me, guys, it really, 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 really helps. I'm not kidding. I wouldn't make a whole video on this if I felt like it didn't have some sort of useful information for you all, because I'm telling you, after I started saying that to myself, I again stopped with all of these anxious, oh my god, I can't, oh my god, like all that stuff that made me feel so insane. It was like I had nothing holding me down with it. You feel me? I was just like a playground in my mind. But at the end of that, I understand that it's okay. You'll get used to what you're saying. You don't have to feel super fulfilled within that right in this very second. If you don't feel it all the way through right now, just understand you will get used to that. And maybe you telling yourself that you will get used to that will be more than enough for you to actually feel like I can keep going in this way, because even if right now I feel like I can't, I know that I will feel like I can in 3 days. You get me? And of course, still, everything is still instant. I am just saying this for those who feel like they have a bit of resistance with it, you know, a little bit of reacting to the 3D a little too much and things like that, the limiting beliefs that feel like they take over. It's time to combat those bitches, okay? It's not who you are. Never been that, okay? Y'all got this. Don't play about it. Be as strong as you possibly can be, as always, and keep on doing what you're doing. The absolute best, because you are the best, and that's it. But keep on doing what you're doing. Just remind yourself that you will get used to it, and that's it. Of course you will. It is already done, and it absolutely is. All right, my love? Okay then. I will see y'all this Thursday for another video. Thank y'all so much again for watching. Seriously, thank you all so much. I'm so appreciative. May God bless you all always, and please take care, everyone. And remind yourself that you'll get used to being the baddest bitch. Remind yourself that you'll get used to being the richest. You'll get used to having the love of your life by your side. You'll get used to the happiness that you're experiencing right now. You'll get used to all the attention you're receiving. You'll get used to having that amazing health that you've been saying that you've been having your entire life. You'll get used to it all, because this is your life and you're not playing about it, not one single bit. Remember to apply this to the most of your ability in every way that you can, whatever way makes you feel the most comfortable, and let it be known that regardless of how you feel and how uncertain and how uncomfortable and how whatever else you may feel while you are manifesting your new story, especially if you're someone who just started out with the law of assumption, remind yourself, I will get used to it. I will get used to it. I am already used to it. I'm getting more and more used to it as day goes on. I am so used to this. I understand that this is the only story for me, and I'm used to that. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I'm used to it. I'm getting used to it. All right? And even if you tell yourself, I will get used to it, which is future tense, understand that that is still something that is still very prevalent right now, you know? Don't think that I will get used to it, so I have to wait. No, you're getting used to it right now. Just let yourself get used to it. And you're going to see just how much you get used to it. Seriously, ask me. Shit, I'll tell you how used to it I got. How quickly it was for me to get used to it because of this. I'm telling y'all, it works. Just use it, do it, think it, know it, that's it. That's it. Just affirm it. Y'all got it. And y'all absolutely do. No joke about it. Bye. The law of assumption is not fake, my love. You just need to give yourself a little bit more time to understand that what you're saying is the case, is actually the case. Maybe right now you're just not fully used to that. Maybe you're not even partially used to that. Maybe it just feels a little too unbelievable right now for you to understand that, wait, this is my new story? This is the only reality that I got? Absolutely, it absolutely is, because you're claiming that. But it's time for you to let yourself get used to that. So start telling yourself, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. Just like you tell everyone else in this life. You tell your children, you'll get used to going to the dentist. You'll get used to going to school. You tell a teenager, you'll get used to driving. It feels weird right now, but you'll get used to it. You tell an adult, it's kind of weird right now to be an adult, but you'll get used to it. You'll get used to everything. And that definitely includes the new story, the new blessed, beloved, most favorable story ever. That story that you've written, you will get used to that, because you are already used to that, because that is your entire being, and that's it. Remember to remain as strong-minded as you know that you've always been, as always, of course. And remind yourself that even if you feel like you can't be the most strong-minded right now, you will get used to being that, because you are that, and that's it. That's your reality. That's everything that you are. Just grant yourself a little bit of time to get used to it. Of course, time is not real, but in the 3D, just give yourself a little more grace, okay? Let it catch up with you, because it's already caught up, and that's it. Believe me, it really is. Y'all got this in the bag, as always, and if you feel like you don't, you'll get used to it. Believe me, you will. May God bless you all always. Thank y'all so much again for watching. Love y'all so much. You'll get used to it real quick. Believe me.